Afternoon viewers, this is Natalie and you are tuned into Witches of the Moon. This week's topic is selling your magical services. This is a very big topic and it's one that I was super excited to see covered this season because I haven't seen it really covered on any other channels, and this is a topic that I think is full of a lot of controversy but is very, very important. It's a very big topic and I'm not exactly sure how to start with it, but I want to get my first and most strong opinion about it out there to you, and then I'll go from there. We'll see where it goes. I don't script out my videos, and I probably should, but it's kind of a record as record can type of thing for me. So let me just start out by saying this. Before you start offering any magical services whatsoever, be very well versed in your craft. What I mean by that is, if you are new to tarot readings, don't sell a tarot reading. You might consider, to get some experience and some feedback, doing some free readings. Maybe say, hey, for the first 5 people that respond to this post, I'm willing to do a free 3-card reading or a free Celtic spread if you'll give me your feedback on my reading. And especially if you are like me and you are an intuitive reader, because I don't necessarily go by the meanings of the cards that are given in the book. When I pull a card, it could be either a positive or a negative meaning depending on where it's placed with the other cards and the feeling I get from it, what I see when I pull that card, what appears to me in the picture, and so on and so forth. And that is how I will read that card. So very frequently, cards that have a predominantly positive or negative meaning in the book may have a totally different meaning for me as I see it, because I rely on my spirit guides to tell me to point out to me what I need to notice about the card. I guess that's the best way to put that. So I would not recommend that anybody who is new to the craft start selling magical services right away. Hey, I'm going to do a tarot reading for 25 bucks or 10 bucks or, whatever, even 5 bucks. I would not recommend doing that. And there's a lot of reasons for that. But first off, I think that when you are new to the craft and you're not real familiar with it, you're anxious to start using it and you want to use it, and it's great if you think you can make money out of it as well, because obviously we all want to support our families and so on and so forth. We want to use our talents and share them with other people, but you want to make sure you really do know what you're doing before you do anything like that. And here's where I want to make a very large distinction in something, because my husband is one of those people, as I mentioned, that thinks that tarot readings or divination services of any kind are hooey. He thinks spell work is hooey and bullshit and fake, and anybody that does it is a liar. You can't really control anything. You don't really know what you're doing. If the outcome that is intended happens, it's purely by coincidence, and so on and so forth. Now, we all know coincidences are not coincidences. Nothing happens by coincidence. So we believe and we operate with the belief that we contain the power. We control the power that manifests what we're seeking. Now, that being said, not every spell is successful every time, and there's other factors that influence that. For example, if your visualization isn't strong enough, if there's a negative influence in your thing, any fragment of doubt about the effectiveness. God. Hey, Shayla. That's my youngest daughter, so. Yes, you look lovely, dear. Very cute. Yes, dear.
My crusted legs.
Love you. Love you, pumpkin. Okay, sorry about that. As I was saying, she just shot at me. You better keep that in there. As I was saying, you need to be very certain that what you're doing is truly what you intend on doing. That you are honestly, to the best of your ability, providing a true and honest service to your clients. Now, as I was saying, if you're new to the craft, you want to get some experience, you might start out by maybe offering a free reading or doing readings for friends or family and getting their feedback on it. I started out asking offering free readings and doing readings for people that I didn't know. I didn't want to do readings for people that I did know, simply for the fact that I wanted to see how well I was actually communicating with the spirit guides, because if I know you, I might be influenced by knowledge I already have about your situation or the question you're asking or whatever. And to be honest with you, I don't even like to know really the question that is being asked. I will tell the person to hold the question in their mind. I'm going to draw the cards. I'm going to tell them this is what I see, and I kind of leave that to their application of that information that's received, because again, I don't want to be influenced by what I know their question is going to be. If their question is this relationship going to work out for me? I don't want to be influenced by my personal feelings of, well, I hope their relationship works out, because obviously they want it to. I want to know, okay, you've got this question in your mind. I want you to focus on your question. We're going to focus together for a few moments. Please be very clear in your focus and in your intent. Make your intent that this would be, set your intentions as, I'm going to get a clear answer about what I should do with this situation I'm experiencing. Sorry, I'm like choking on my own self here. So that way, I'm not at all influenced by whatever information they might inadvertently give me, and the reason I practice that way is because of my husband, actually, because he's like, oh, they're going to ask you little questions about this and that, and it's amazing how much you can figure out or divine about somebody based on what they do or don't tell you. So I'm like, okay, good point taken. How do I know that's not the case, that's not influencing how I'm reading this situation or these cards? So for me, when you are selling a spell or you're selling a magical service, you need to be very, very clear that you are knowledgeable in what you are doing, that you've done your research, you've done your practice, you've been doing it for a while, you are completely confident that you can provide an honest service to the person that is paying you. Now, I want to make a distinction here between divination and fortune telling, because I get irked when I hear the term fortune telling, because to me, I link that with charlatanism and shenanigans, malarkey, because nobody knows with absolute certainty what the future holds for anyone. And to tell someone that you're going to tell them their fortune, you're going to tell their future, you are automatically setting yourself up for failure, because many different things influence what goes on. The actions you take influence the actions of others influence your actions, and so on and so forth. When you are doing a reading, particularly, I'm focusing primarily on tarot readings, but any divination service, you want to make sure that people know, okay, here is what I'm seeing. If the situation remains as it is, or if you take the action that you are considering, if this is allowed to continue on the path that it's going on, this is what I see the likely outcome will be. This is what I'm being told the likely outcome will be. And that to me is very, very important, because I think when you tell someone, and here's kind of something that irks me. There has been a lot of commercials on the television lately for a company called California Psychics, and I don't normally name a company outright like this, and I don't know anything about the California Psychics, so I'm just going to state that up front. They may be completely legitimate. Their psychics might be among the most talented and gifted psychics that are out there, or readers, or what have you, because I don't know how their psychics work in terms of, I don't know if they're reading tarot, if they're doing OM, if they're scrying through candle or crystal or mirror or what have you. But I am skeptical of their company simply because of what I hear supposed clients saying in the commercials. Like, I was amazed that she knew exactly the name and dates of this and that and this and that. It's possible that they may have some extraordinarily talented, very gifted seers in their practice, but I'm always a little skeptical of somebody that can give you that much detail, because I know for myself, I never see that much detail in a reading, and it could be just me that, what I see tends to be more general in nature. But I would just say be very upfront with your clientele about your level of experience and about how you conduct your magical services in terms of divination services. Now, in terms of other magical services, spell work and that sort of thing, I think that we all generally agree you can do workings for other people, but it's always best and more effective if the person is doing a working for themselves. So when I have someone come to me that needs help with something, if it's possible to pass the materials to that individual and give them the necessary words and actions and so forth for them to do the work themselves, then I will sell them the materials and the words. I will craft words for them to use based on what they tell me their needs are, and I will give it to them and tell them this is what you need to do to make this happen for yourself, because obviously their intentions are more set than your intentions for them are going to be. So their energy, they're more invested in the situation than you are as a practitioner. So it's better for them if they can do the working themselves. Now you can provide them the materials, you can provide them the words, and you need to, kind of decide on that yourself. Now, sometimes I'll just do a working for somebody because it's something that's personal to me. I have a friend that's, in need of some assistance. I may do a working for that friend, but it's my intention and my visualization of the outcome I know is desired for that individual. So it's more for me, but not me, if that makes sense. Almost like when you're praying for somebody else, you're asking for something for this other person, but you're wanting that outcome for them. So you're putting your intent into your desire for that outcome for that person. I'm sorry, I'm having troubles today. I don't know what the heck's going on with me, so I apologize. But in terms of pricing your magical services, how do you know what to charge? How do you know when to charge? That's really a matter of personal preference. When I am pricing any product that I have that I sell in my store, and I do have a magical store, or I'm doing something for somebody, even when it's related to my speech pathology practice. If I have a client that comes to me that says, look, I'm in need of services, but my insurance doesn't cover it, what can you work out with me? Well, it's a matter of what can you afford, what can you do. So I always kind of do a little bit of research when I'm pricing something. So in terms of what I charge for my magical services like divination or spells or things like that depends on several factors. First off, I'm going to kind of scope out the competition, so to speak, and see what do they charge. What's the running rate for a service like this? I don't want to overcharge or undercharge somebody. I don't want to undervalue my own services to somebody. So I'll do a little research and see what other people charge for a similar type of working. I also consider the materials and the time that I put into it. If it's a spell that I'm developing for somebody, then I'm going to look at what materials are needed for that spell. How much are those going to cost me? I need to be able to make a profit, which means automatically you have to double the wholesale cost, sometimes triple it, for it to be worthwhile to you. Because if you're selling your magical services, you're obviously doing it for a profit. You need to make a profit to be able to continue to operate your thing. It's a business like any other business. And I don't want to get on a soapbox about businesses and profits and things like that because it tends to get very political, but I can tell you that a business cannot operate if it's not making a profit. They can't pay employees if they're not making a profit. So everything you do is probably for profit. Now, it could vary. I mean, it could be that you're one of those people that you're like, okay, well, I'm not really selling my magical services for profit per se. I'd like to just be able to cover the cost that I put into it. That's great. If that's the case, then absolutely fantastic. Smabulous. In that case, simply consider quantifying how much time you take for it and the materials that you spend on it and say this is what it is and take that and be happy with it. But most people sell their magical services for a profit, and there's nothing wrong with that. I know there are a lot of people. I've seen all kinds of shit, frankly, out there that has gone on within the community of people that ask people for a service, but they don't want to pay for it. You're asking somebody to take their time and their effort and their resources and their energy and time away from their families to do something for you. You should be willing to pay for that. And that person's time is just as valuable as anybody else's. I don't feel that you really have a right to ask someone to do something for you for free. And I have noticed that there are an awful lot of people out there that only do things when they think they're going to get something out of it. Like they'll only make a purchase if they think they're going to be entered in a giveaway, or they're only going to, buy something or make a minimal investment if they think they can get something really big out of it. And I have to tell you that irks the P1 out of me. And I understand everybody's looking for a bargain. There's nothing wrong with that. And I understand that there are going to be times when you have more money than others, or maybe you're really trying to help somebody out, and so they may be doing something like that, but that may be the moment that you have money you can spend on something like that. And I'm not trying to disparage anybody that's in that situation, because I've been in that situation myself before, and I understand. And you can't support everybody. I get that. But be cautious of those that ask you to do things but don't want to pay you for it. If they're asking you for a service, automatically they are taking stock in your skills and your abilities, and I would say that you need to quantify that and definitely do so. And there are people that say, well, how dare you? You have a gift. You need to share that gift. How can you charge for this? And I cry bullshit on that too. You have a talent, that's true, but it doesn't mean that you have to give your talent away for free. Who in the hell says that? If you're asking me to take my time is valuable, and I should be reimbursed for taking the time to do you a favor. See, it seems to me there's so many people out there that want something for nothing, and I would really guard against that. And don't let people guilt you into doing readings or things like that for them, or making product for them, if they're not willing to reimburse you your cost and your time. If you decide to gift someone something, fabulous. That's your choice. That's great. There's nothing wrong with doing that either. I'm simply saying I have seen an awful lot of people that berate magical practitioners for services, for selling their services, so to speak, like it's something dirty. And I don't believe it is. Not everybody chooses to sell their magical services, and that's fine too. A lot of people are uncomfortable with doing it because of the uncertain nature of it, and nobody wants to get sued or a bad reputation or anything like that. So, that's fine. Now, I do want to take a moment to bring up something related directly to selling your magical services and the media through which you sell your magical services and so forth, and how you go about doing it. Because I know that there are people out there wondering, well, how do you do a reading for somebody who's, on the other side of the country or in another country or what have you? And I have seen readings done on YouTube videos that were recorded and then later posted for the person, or a link was emailed to the person. It's done in private, and only that person has the link to view the video or what have you. And however you choose to do that, if you want to give them the results by email, these were the cards I drew, these are the meanings I see related to that. I've seen that done too. Phone calls, however you want to do it. I've seen it done several different ways. However, I will say that Etsy no longer allows the sale of magical services on their website. And I know a lot of people are kind of up in arms about that. I don't know if that's ever going to be repealed as their policy. Etsy, as a company, has a right to set their own policies. And if they feel that this is a service that's not guaranteeable, you can hardly fault them for wanting to protect their customers from people who might be less than honest about the services that they offer. Because I know that there are a lot of people that offer tarot readings or fortune-telling services, or psychic services or whatever, that are less than honest. And they give all of us a bad name. So, I mean, I know back in the 90s there was a lady that was on TV. I don't remember her name, but she was very popular, very well known, and people paid her millions to do readings for them. And as it turns out, she was full of shit. She kind of got caught admitting that she faked everything, really didn't have any gift per se, and that just automatically discredits all of us. And it's unfortunate because there are many of us that are in the craft that have gifts that we want to share, but are afraid to because of, people like that and the reputation that we can get. I would also say when you start selling magical services too, watch out for the people that ask you for absolutely ridiculous crap, because there's a lot of, kind of BS ideas out there. Um, for example, I had one guy ask me, could I cast a spell to make him shorter because he was tired of being taller than everybody around him. No. Can't affect your pituitary gland. I can chop you off the knees you want, but that kind of thing. I was watching one of the Deviant Witchery videos recently, and Michael Blackthorn was talking about how somebody asked him to curse all of the dollar stores because apparently they had a product that this individual felt that they just couldn't live without, and they were too tempted by it. Learn some self-control. I mean, be prepared. You're going to get some really bizarro kinds of things thrown at you. That may be a topic for a video later on, as a matter of fact. So, when you set out your services, make sure that you're very clear about your parameters. Be very honest with your clients about how you do your workings, the effectiveness they can expect. Be sure that you're upfront with you get out of it what you put into it, and that means they need to be putting into it too, or it's not going to be the desired outcome, and that many things influence spell work, so it may not be the outcome they're looking for, but it's going to be the outcome that's, should be, basically. Which I think is something that makes people hesitant about selling magical services. So, see, I've covered ethics, pricing. Etsy. You may not be able to sell your services through Etsy, but you can certainly open your own shop, open your own website. GoDaddy offers domains for very inexpensive, and they have a good website hosting that's also not very expensive. That's like $55 for an entire year, and you can get the domain for like $3 for the year. So, or $12. I think it's like $3 for a month or something like that. But you can take on a domain name and secure it and copyright it, and they will copyright it for you. And all the content on your site would be copyrighted by GoDaddy if you go through them, because I use them for my private practice in speech pathology. And you can set up your own little website. Wix offers free websites. So you can offer your services there or sell it directly through a Facebook page. You can also sell your services directly through StoreEnvy.com. You can offer magical services on their site because I do. So those are some places you could offer it. I would start out again just maybe offering free readings if you're new, just to get some feedback, and hey, can I use some of your feedback? Would you mind giving me an email feedback that I can post on my website? You'd be surprised how often people will support you in that, especially if you have a genuine talent and you're really doing an accurate reading. People will be more than happy to let you use them as a reference, and I would have references ready for that. That's it. I mean, not all product that you choose to sell, like if you make your own incenses and you make your own spell oils and things like that, those aren't necessarily magical services per se. To me, this video was more about like divination services and spell work, selling those products specifically, because you can guarantee the quality of an oil. I don't know that you can guarantee its effectiveness per se, but magical services are one of those things that it's a lot of times open to interpretation in some ways, and I think that makes people a little skittish, or some people tend to think that it's just a bunch of bullshit from the get-go, which we all know it's not, or none of us would be here. So I hope that this video didn't seem too rambly or disjointed. I hope that my points came across clear. I hope that I gave you some food for thought about this topic, because it is an important one and it's something that I really tend to get on my soapbox about. So thank you again for watching. I hope you all have a wonderful week and many bright blessings.